Hi, my name is Abraham.
And I'm Maymay.
And we go to the Girard Academic Music Program.
Sorry we can't be there to show you guys our project.
But we're still here, or at least in a digital form.
And we still wanted to show you guys what we've been working on all year.
So as you can see here, we've created a website. And on this website you can find almost a lot of things. But first we'll start off with our video blogs.
Now, these video blogs were students who were asked to reflect on their opinion about organ and tissue donation. And they also had to design their own web pages that went along with it. For example, if you go down to Chicky, we can pull up her personal web page, and you can see she tells us a little bit about herself, has some nice pictures, but if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, she has all of her video entries.
Which are the reflections that Maymay talked about previously. So, let's take a look at one and we'll be back.
Okay, so our first entry, we were asked, when you were old enough, will you register to become an organ and tissue donor? Why or why not? I have to say I probably will become an organ donor or tissue donor. And that's probably most likely because if I'm dead, I obviously don't need my organs. So I'd much rather know that somebody else is making use of them than, I'm going to become an organ and tissue donor. Woohoo!
And we're back.
We're back! Yeah. So we were also lucky enough to have 4 guest speakers, all of whom had direct experience with organ and tissue donation. In general, all 4 speakers talked about how hard it was in the time trying to get the organ that they needed, as well as how thankful they were when they received their organ. So,
let's take a look at Jim and what he had to say at the assembly.
we'll be back in a second. Again.
Broke my leg while I was working. Destroyed it. Went to the hospital. Doctor told me my knee looked like saltine crackers and my tibia was completely gone. It was shattered beyond repair. So they said, we can't operate, it's going to take 2 days, and we got to get you a tibia bone. So they did. They got a tibia bone. And that was my first transplant. They attached that. And how they attached it, they used a plate, 9 screws, and 3 pins. Unfortunately, I also had no cartilage left. And I had no ACL. And if you're an athlete and you know what an ACL is, the anterior cruciate ligament, that's what stabilizes you and enables you to run. While I was laying in the hospital recuperating, a doctor came in and asked me if I had a basketball at home. And I said, yeah. I'm thinking, great. He's going to tell me to do something with the basketball, build myself back up. And I said, yeah, I do. He says, tell your wife to throw it away. I says, why? He says, I don't want you ever to be tempted to think you can play basketball again. He says, you'll never run on that leg, but you're going to be able to walk. So I was lucky. About 8 years later, not having cartilage, rubbing bone on bone, knee went. Had to have a new knee put in. So now I have a tibia bone from somebody else, and I got an artificial knee. While they did the surgery, before the surgery, they said, hey, there's something wrong with your blood. We can't do the surgery. We need a hepatologist to figure out what's wrong. What was showing was my blood showed that during the surgery I may bleed out, I may hemorrhage and die. But at the same time it showed that I may clot and blow a clot that will go to my heart and kill me. So they couldn't figure out how do you do this and keep me alive.
We're back again.
Hey again.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on.
Is the interview stage? Yes. Students were also asked to interview a loved one or someone who meant of importance to them. Sorry about that. And what they were talking about is generally what they had learned in the previous projects. And they also tried to educate them in the matter, not necessarily persuade them, but just to educate them so that they could get a better understanding of what organ and tissue donation is, how it works, etc.
Another part of the project were the organ and tissue donation PSAs. These PSAs were meant to address the myths and misconceptions that are often associated with the topic. And the PSA that we're going to show you is about the myth that rich and famous people get placed higher on the waiting list than normal people, which isn't true, and you can see
as
how.
you all know, yes.
So you'll see how they address that.
Again, we will be back for a third time, I believe. Let's go.
Are you rich and famous? Are you poor and regular? Well, we don't care. If you're on our waiting list, that doesn't matter. Well, we don't care about your social status or how accomplished you are in life. Ha ha ha. Would Bill Gates have a higher chance of getting an organ than someone who's just your average Joe?
Most people would say yes, but this, my friends, is not the case. If you are in need of an organ transplant, you are put on the national recipient waiting list. The fact of the matter is, the organ distribution system is not aware of the socioeconomic status or income of the people on the waiting list. They don't even know your name. The only information provided on the list are necessary medical statistics and the age of the recipient.
However, there are certain advantages that wealthier people can afford, such as finding the best hospitals and reaching them the fastest in their private jet or helicopter. And of course, they always want their special treatment. But as far as the waiting list goes and receiving organs, rich and famous people are just as important as you. To the waiting list and doctors, you are just as important as Bill Gates or anyone else for that matter.
The time it takes to receive an organ actually depends on the compatibility with the organs, including your blood type, how long you've been on the waiting list, and the severity of your condition. Components such as people's race, gender, age, income, and celebrity status are never used to determine who receives an organ.
Just remember that. The next time you're ranting on about how rich and famous people always come first, well, this time, they don't.
Hey, we're back again for like the 5th time.
So you guys may have been admiring these fancy t-shirts
Maybe.
that Abraham and I are wearing.
Yes, we have. These t-shirts represent the amount of people that needed that particular organ at the time that the t-shirt was made. So, for example, on the lungs, it says 1,790, which, of course, like I said before, which I said before, again, represents the amount of people that needed a lung. And then it goes on for hearts, pancreas, and kidneys.
On the back, we advertise our website, which is gamplifeweb.com. And we also encourage you guys to explore the website and watch our video blogs.
As well as the donor PSAs and all 4 speakers, because that was a great experience and we are happy that they came. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry we can't be there, but we're here in spirit. My name is Abraham.
And I'm May May.
High five.